Hello and welcome back to My Tea Adventure. My name's Aaron, and on this YouTube channel we're going to be talking about all things tea. Now, my love for tea didn't really develop until a few years ago, so I'm still very new at all this. But if you're anything like me, you might not really know the difference between a lot of the teas that we commonly have here in North America. I definitely didn't. I would be the type of person that would go over to someone's house and they'd say, "Hey, do you want a cup of tea?" And I'd say, "Sure." And they'd say, "Earl Grey, okay?" And I'd go, "Yeah, of course," because I really didn't know what Earl Grey was. So I thought that I would do a little bit of digging and find out what the difference was between Earl Grey, English breakfast, and Orange Pekoe, because I genuinely did not know. And I'll say, I found out some interesting things. One of those teas is made with citrus, but it's probably not the one that you think. Now let's start by talking about Orange Pekoe, because that was probably the most interesting thing that I discovered during my research. Firstly, Orange Pekoe has no orange in it. If you're expecting a citrus tea, this is not the tea for you. Orange Pekoe is not actually a flavor of tea at all. It's actually a grade of tea, which has been assigned based on the size and quality of the leaves grown. Now, in general, Orange Pekoe teas tend to be a mid to lower grade of teas. However, the term can refer to higher grades of teas depending on where and when they were picked. You can even have specific subgrades of Orange Pekoe, like if it's a more floral blend because of when the leaves were picked, or if only the tips of the leaves were picked. That gives it a different flavor and can have different designations. So there's all of these separate little sub-Orange Pekoe categories. Now, you're probably wondering, if there's no orange in it, how did it get the name Orange Pekoe? Good question. Now, the origins of the name are not particularly well known. However, it is assumed that they are associated with the Dutch royal family in some way. Back in the 1600s, the Dutch royal family was from the House of Orange. And so the name Orange Pekoe was probably referring to the tea that this royal family drank. And then in the 1600s, the Dutch East India Trading Company would have been distributing tea more widely to the public, and so the Orange Pekoe name was probably given to it based on the royal family who originally were drinking the tea the most. So, when you are drinking Orange Pekoe tea, you too can feel like royalty. Okay, so if Orange Pekoe doesn't have any citrus in it, which tea does? Well, it's the next tea in our list, and it's another royal tea. It's Earl Grey tea. Now, in general, Earl Grey tea refers to a black tea blend, which is a mix of leaves from the Assam region in India and the Ceylon region in Sri Lanka. However, any blend of black tea leaves can be used. The important thing is that there is also bergamot in the tea blend. Now, originally, this meant that tea makers would put bergamot rind in with the tea blend and then boil the tea. However, in more modern days, a lot of producers of Earl Grey will probably just spray the leaves with bergamot essential oil before packaging and processing. And this actually gives it a stronger citrus flavor than just putting the rinds into the tea mix. Now again, the name Earl Grey, the origins of that are not widely known, but it is assumed that it refers to Charles Grey, who was the second Earl of Grey in the 19th century. Now, the background and stories associated with why it is named after him differ greatly. I found a lot of different reasons, including travelers from China who introduced the tea to him, all the way to there was a lot of lime in the well water, and so someone made a blend of tea which would help disguise the taste of the lime in the well water, so they added bergamot to give it a more citrus flavor. I don't know what the actual story is or why Charles Grey got a tea named after him, but it is a very good tea if you need a pick-me-up. As it's made of black tea, it is very caffeinated. So, this is our second tea, and it is the one with citrus in it. Surprise! Okay, so the final tea that we're going to talk about is English breakfast. Now, English breakfast is a black tea that surprisingly has no flavoring. It's just black tea. Now, you might be wondering, Aaron, if it's just black tea, how is English breakfast different than Orange Pekoe? Well, remember, Orange Pekoe was a grading system, and Orange Pekoe is only made with a single type of tea leaf, whereas English breakfast is a mix or a blend of different tea leaves from different areas. In general, English breakfast is again made from a mixture from the Assam or the Ceylon region. However, a variety of other black teas have been used, and it really depends on who you're buying your English breakfast tea from. Now, English breakfast is a very well caffeinated tea, and that actually might have something to do with its origins. It's generally thought that English breakfast was marketed to be a kind of pick-me-up in the morning, and it's generally associated with a Scottish tea maker named Robert Drysdale. Now, when he was creating this, he was looking for something that would go along with a hearty English breakfast, and so he decided to market a stronger tea as a breakfast tea that would give you more energy in the morning. So that's generally thought of how English breakfast got its name. So, we've looked at 3 different teas, and I hope that this video has helped to clarify how they're different. We've got Orange Pekoe, which helps to grade tea, English breakfast, which is a mix or a blend of black teas, and Earl Grey, which is a blend of black teas that also has some bergamot flavoring. So, next time you're at a friend's house and they say, "Hey, do you want a cup of tea?" and you say, "Sure, I'd like some Earl Grey, please." And then you'll know exactly what you're going to be drinking and what to expect. So, I hope that this video was informative and that you enjoyed this little tea adventure that I had as I did some research on some very common teas that are drunk here in North America. If there's other teas that you'd like me to try, please let me know in the comments. I am always eager to try new blends of tea. Or, if you've thought of a tea theme that you'd like me to explore, let me know. I've got some very exciting afternoon teas that we're going to be trying in the future, so make sure that you like and subscribe this video so that you know when my next tea recipes are going to be published. That's it for today. I hope that you've enjoyed my tea adventure, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!